How's it going, guys? It's Mr. Lone Wolf, and today I managed to download the test server. So here's a couple of different things they've added and whatnot. New vehicles, Vostok MU97 Ant bridge layer and a rusty version, a Tayga bridge layer, the Amiga Thunder. It's like a version of the Land Rover, but like a newer more modern. Bloody hell, can't even talk. A Mule Trailblazer. I didn't look at the TUZ. A fuel truck. 2 maps, Contamination and Washout, and then there's also like limited fuel, convoy damage, quarry size. You can change all sorts of things. It essentially started it like a brand new game, so I've got no save to go through. There's like, I can put the fuel on. Yeah, convoy difficulty, which just says like it'll chew up the terrain as they keep going, which I thought was the general idea anyway, but I suppose each time you reload it, it probably refreshes it, whereas maybe now it'll save it as like the road gets more damaged each time. Fewer convoys, just you can have half as many, but it'll pay twice as much, so it ends up the same. Yeah, and you can see the rest. Gearbox, it wasn't working for me, I'll get to that. Fuel cost, bridge cost, economic modifiers, quarry zone size. I should have done that actually. To be in my defence, there was a cat sat in front of my screen for like the first half of this video, so I actually couldn't see a lot. But yeah, these are the 2 new maps. The train was transporting chemicals when sudden seismic activity led to a soil collapse. The subsequent hazardous spill threatens the environment in the area, and you're tasked with mitigating the damage. This mission involves both direct intervention, like scouting and removing chemicals, and indirect intervention. I think it was like water purifying and stuff. Yeah, when I clicked on it, this is like the not thumbnail, like the opening credits of the map. I'm kind of like, I've obviously messed around on it tonight and tested the bridge layers out and stuff. I didn't really do the footage as properly as I'd do a normal map, but it was making me think, do I just carry on now then and play this test server as the 2 new maps, or do I wait until it's officially released? I'm not entirely sure myself, but either way, tonight was just a good chance to test some things out, really. Yeah, I chose the Land Rover. It gave me a choice between the Land Rover or that Minuteman, but again, I just think this has got a slightly shorter wheelbase. Although this one, I don't know, looks like a little bit of a longer wheelbase version. Maybe it's just me. Yeah, the gearbox won't work for me. It says press left on the D-pad to like enter it, but none of my analog stick, any button I press just wouldn't make it move out of auto, so I'm not sure if that's like I'm not able to because I'm using a PS4 remote, or if there's an issue with it. I'll figure it out at some point. At least it's in auto, so it was behaving like normal, really. I essentially just haven't been able to access anything. I was able to reverse as normal, so it's only really low I'm not even that bothered about. It's high gear I wanted to try, which I wasn't able to so far. And then a couple of things. One, this map definitely feels like a step up in difficulty, even like just I've got to get from A to B. And obviously now I've got fuel, so you can see in the bottom left it says, well, refuel the vehicle's blanked out. 66 litres left out of 80. I think it uses fuel pretty quick, if I'm honest. Maybe not too bad in this one, because I have had a little drive around before I set off trying to find a route to my destination. But at some point I got, I think it was like the Vostok dozer out of the garage, and by the time I'd even got out of the yard, I'd used about 16 litres of fuel. It was literally counting down like a litre a second, maybe even quicker than that. Yeah, like, setting off on this map, there's a roadblock, like a load of rocks in the way, so I ended up kind of cutting through the forest. Now there's pipes going across the road and that's damaged. Something as well, I don't know if it's just me, but there's something feels more realistic about it. I don't know, the way the trucks were kind of bouncing over the terrain and all sorts. There's a bit of a better clip later on with a mule that I was driving kind of up a rocky incline thing, so I can connect back to a road. The only thing I was thinking is, like, I played Wreckfest yesterday, but it can't be that. It can't just be an hour or 2 of doing laps of Wreckfest and then suddenly this game feels something different, but in a good way. I'm going to cut ahead. I basically just cut through that short forest, but I kept getting stuck on stuff, and again, I was just kind of testing things out. I wasn't really, in fairness, it's kind of my bad, because I wasn't getting the footage as in knowing I'm going to do a video. I was more distracted. Again, one I had the cat sat in front of the screen, but I was just kind of like, oh, that's what the fuel's doing, this is what this is doing. Yeah, so I was kind of in my own world a bit, trying to test things out. I kept trying to access the gearbox, but still no luck, no matter which combinations of buttons I pressed. And yeah, I think one of the only main differences, I did the vehicle cost as trivial, which basically gives you them for free and you can buy them all from the garage at the start. Because it's made me start a new playthrough, I've got none of the original maps unlocked, but for whatever reason it starts me with, I believe, 1 million. Yeah, I'm not too bothered about having to save up the money and buy vehicles again. I'm quite happy just having it set as trivial mode. I want to see though, as I didn't really see it at first, is the zone, the quarry zone size. I want to see if I can change that. If not, I'm possibly even tempted to restart like the playthrough, since I've not got that much done so far, and a good majority of it was kind of messing around. I had a little play around with the new bridge layers and that. Yeah, I'll be honest, because I clicked on it, I wasn't even sure if I'll be able to get the test server. I think I downloaded it yesterday, wasn't sure what had happened when I loaded it up, didn't realise it was going to start like the equivalent of an entire fresh game. And I kind of forgot that I'd even be allowed to access the new bridge layers and stuff, so I didn't even realise until like a fair way through, hence why I'm kind of chopping through some of the footage a bit quicker, because I wanted to save more video time really for messing around with stuff like the bridge layers. So that's where I came from, the northern tunnel. That's like the rock slide that was in the way, so I had to sort of cut through the forest. It would have been easier. Maybe I could have pulled the stuff out of the way with the Land Rover, but they're pretty massive rocks, so it would have been pretty awkward. Yeah, and then there's a mule in that machine yard, and it wants me to deliver it up here to the top right corner, really, the tunnel exit base. Just one last quick look at the Land Rover. Yeah, I kind of thought, well, I'll try and drive around here, connect back to that road, because everywhere you look, not in a bad way, but, you know, there's like the road's damaged, they've got pipes going through it, there's not really any clean routes at the beginning. So yeah, jumping in this thing, I'm going to fast forward here. The reason why, I wanted to show you the footage, but in a minute I tip over and I basically did the same route again. And I think the second route was, the second attempt was just a little bit quicker, but you can see the kind of terrain and that it was trying to get me to go through. I could have kept going, but there's a tree blocking me further on. So I started to climb up there, but then I realised later there's no point, because the road that loops round essentially climbs up that hill a lot more sensibly. Yeah, just even driving along here though, you can see my tracks where I'd already just been. I don't know, it was sort of feeling good. Every now and then you get stuck on a rock that the hitbox doesn't make too much sense, but apart from that, yeah, I like the, I don't know, there was an element of actual difficulty to this map, more than just, oh, drive here and whatnot. Even though I am essentially just holding the throttle down and steering, but I've still got to roughly gauge like what rock I'm going over, what angle I want to go. It did feel like this could have done with a winch. Not like, it's not the end of the world, but just, yeah, I do miss just having constant access to a winch. And again, with this vehicle, I like how much it was able to flop around, but it didn't tip. Obviously I rolled it eventually, but the hill I was going up was a bit juicy and a bit unnecessary. That's why I kind of thought it's best to, well, at that point I'd rolled, so I had to recover, but I mean, on attempt number 2 there was no point in trying to do it again, because it was just the road next to me. Yeah, you can see the tree up ahead that's been downed, so I won't be able to go that way anyway. You can see the road over to the left. Did I just say left with the tree? For some reason I've been getting my left and right mixed up. The other day I made a video and I kept saying to the right of something and I meant left. I do, despite what it might sound like, I do know the difference between left and right. I'm left-handed as well. Should help, but not in this case. Yeah, like I say, going up the hill, it was like, this road is just going to loop round, so there wasn't even anything really to be gained at the end of it anyway. You can see the hill kind of up there. There's a few slightly different tweaks. There's a new blue aura around the flag you put down, and you can see on the screen now the blue flag is now at the bottom and it's kind of highlighted on your screen, then it goes to the side. I don't know if I like it or not. Like, it's not too bad at the minute, but if things eventually get a bit messy and you've got several markers laid out, I assume they're all going to just be rotating around the edge of the screen, which, okay, it's not the end of the world, but if there is an option to turn it off, I probably would at that point. But like I say, at the minute, just one flag and that, it's not too bad. So then I had to lay a route to this tunnel exit base. Got the mule there. Yeah, that seems new. Well, not seems new. You see how there's like a ghost truck as you lay in the line? Doesn't seem to do a lot. I don't think it really matters, like, but yeah, it's there. So I took the route this way, but there's like you can cross the road, but this can't. Like, you can see there's a little drop down, but there is still cement slabs or whatever in the gap. But this thing being an Azov and only rear wheel drive, it had no chance. Other vehicles like a Lynx, I'm sure, for example, would just be able to drive over that. So I sent them round this way. Thankfully there is some slabs laid over these pipes, so I can go round. I thought I was going to get stuck. I was just waiting for them to tap out, and then it kept sending more trucks. And they all started ramming into each other. By some miracle. I mean, in a way, it's probably a good thing that the last one was a mule, so at least that's got enough oomph to kind of shove these out of the way. Kill a few trees. The mule went for a sneaky overtake. I respect it. And yeah, back to the road, and then basically just following this up to the garage. Nothing crazy at that point. Just ahead of where I was there is where I reconnected to the road with the mule anyway. Yeah, got that objective done, which I believe unlocks the tunnel exit base. And then I did another AI route, but I already knew they were going to get stuck. I wanted to see what vehicles it'd send, but it sent an Azov, so I was like, well, they're definitely getting stuck there. But you've got this road a little further to the south, but it's got big trees downed on it. And again, at this point, I still didn't realise I had bridge layers or anything. Not that it matters, I think this was still a good thing. Sent in a mulcher. See, at this point though, I still had the cat in the way of the screen. I scrolled through the shop and bought a mulcher and didn't even realise I still didn't see the bridge layers. Yeah, got the trees out of the way. Murdered someone in a Portaloo thing. The mulcher went crazy when I tipped that over. Yeah, so that's the road cleared anyway. Get that parked up. It's worth remembering, hold your handbrake to turn engines off, because they are ticking away using fuel. I think your engines will probably turn off eventually, but still, it seems how quick they burn fuel, it's probably wise to just keep turning them off when you're done. Yeah, so I came here to dump some sand again, still didn't quite realise I had the bridge layer. For what it's worth, I couldn't see a quarry zone, but thankfully when I bought the dumper, it spawned with a full load of sand, and I just needed one to patch that gap in the road up. Yeah, found this and I was like, oh bloody hell, there's bridges. And then yeah, there's a new version of the mule, Trailblazer. It looks pretty cool, looks more like it should. Better off-road tyres, hopefully got a bit more speed to it. I've not even driven it yet, to be honest. There's a fuel truck now, which I bought one, but I've not used it. I just kind of figured in the scheme of things I might need one. Yeah, the new Scout that's just more looks like a 2025 version of the Land Rover or whatever. Bought a couple of other vehicles. You can see everything costs 0 for me because I set the thing to trivial. And then yeah, I also found a tayga bridge layer, which I didn't really realise they'd added. So even at the beginning, because I had the cat in the way, I still had that menu thing come up and told me what they added. But I could barely see any of it, and yeah, I don't know, I was just kind of in my own world, like, kind of forgot I was going to be making a video on it. For what it's worth, it's only a little thing, but I don't like the layout of the garage. It keeps spawning, like, I'd rather aim towards the exit of the garage every time it spawns me, but not the end of the world. Maybe at some point I can... Well, I don't know, there's a lot of stuff in that yard that's immovable. I was going to say you could probably build bridges and pour sand and make a new way out of there, but it's probably not worth it in the scheme of things. This doesn't look too bad for using fuel. I've 5 litres and I've only left the base though and gone down a hill. It's not exactly too far. Yeah, and here's a good example. Well, obviously at this point I shouldn't have bothered taking the bloody dumper and pouring the sand, but again I didn't realise at this point. Unable to attach bridge. Oh no, yeah. You hold the button down. That's the one. And yeah, at least like they fold out fairly quickly. Quick enough anyway, it doesn't take the piss and make it go half a mile an hour and take 30 seconds just to unfold it. Trying like now to get it in the middle. That's what she said. Yeah, I was like, well, I kind of knew that was going to happen. Bring a dozer, get that flattened, Not that I really need it anymore, just to flatten it so I can put the bridge down at this point. Again, this is where the Azovs originally got stuck, and you can just see where I sent them round to the side, over those concrete slabs. Trying to get it all lined up. I was thinking, right, the middle, I just want to land, in the middle. Pretty good effort there. And then you press X or whatever to detach it. I'll be honest, as of yet, I've not tried picking one up, and then this all folds away. For what it's worth, it'd be nice if you could just press a button and that starts to auto-fold. Again, nothing major, but if the option was there, I wouldn't say no. But yeah, overall, pretty cool. Pretty handy. They span a pretty big gap, and this is only the little one, the tayga version. The other Vostok version is bigger. Yeah, at this point, like loaf for science. I already knew. I already did this on a SnowRunner when some guy added a mod version of the bridge layer. Got to see how strong these bridge lifting capabilities are. Trying to fat shame me loaf. Yeah, loaf fell off. You see, that's why I like the loaf, because he just wiggles his... Well, didn't even need to wiggle. He just knew what he was doing. He's got a scientific mission to achieve. Yeah, not that you need to, but I was kind of figuring that AI aren't the most sensible at the best of times, and since I was messing around with the bridge laying anyway, I thought I'd bring another one. Lay a few of them down. One thing I like as well is after even like the bridge is fully out, I can reverse and drive forward a little bit just to adjust it, which I like, because they could have easily just made it less gamer friendly and more like, oh, once it's touching the ground you can't drag it and you have to lift it back up a bit and all that. It's nice that you can move it when it's fully flat, just so you can, yeah, a bit of OCD going on. I wanted them to be as nicely lined up as possible. And then I bought another one, basically did the same thing. So that's 3 bridge layers across there, which, yeah, looks pretty good. So at this point, I'm going to have a lot of these empty taygas laying around. It's a good job I set the vehicle thing to 0, because I already would have blown quite a lot of money. I mean, at this point, you should be able to sell them for slightly less than you paid. In fact, I'll have to try that at some point. I wonder if you do sell the tayga, if it'll take the bridge with it. I bet it probably does. It'd be pretty cool if it didn't, because the 10% you lose, I'd almost be willing to pay that to get the bridge part of it for free and just sell the tayga back, so you haven't got like 10 bridgeless taygas sitting around at the by the time you've got the map done. Yeah, and this is the Vostok version, much bigger bridge, again deploys pretty quickly. The bad news is I was not looking at the screen right now while I was driving. Good news is I didn't fly over the barriers and crash. Now I was looking again. I'm trying to think, this might be like the Vostok, the one that's got like the crane on it, because the view seems pretty similar. I was kind of looking around, started reading that. Like, yeah, that's all cool. I was like, oh yeah, shit, I'm still driving. I forgot I was even flying down the road, wearing a bridge as a hat. So got here, again, I quite like that it ain't slow about deploying. Vehicle failed. I knew it would. I changed the route. I'm supposed to be taking this to patch a gap in the road that's got pipes running through it, but obviously got to this point, started messing around, almost got the front anchor things hooked on the bridge there. I've seen them move a little bit. You can winch to the bridges as well, which probably is a good thing, and a lot more winch points the better, really. Yeah, I knew what needed to be done. Bring the loaf. For some reason I completely messed up going around there. Like, damn. Looking for some winch points, a winch to the Vostok thing or the bridge. I was like, nah. It's a goddamn loaf, he doesn't need a bridge. Loaf's like, you know I am. I am the bridge. Get out of the way, tree. More scientific endeavours to achieve. Yeah, I mean, he's goddamn professional. He doesn't need a bridge. But I needed to test the weightlifting capabilities of this bridge. For science, there's times it might be handy. You see, you could park a loaf or another vehicle on the bridge, lift it up, and whilst it's at like a right angle, you could place one end of it on the top of a building and then drive the vehicle off like the middle onto the building. All sorts of things. Yeah, thankfully you can actually fire a winch out to the actual vehicle, so I was like, well, I'm definitely getting the right seat. And yeah, pretty cool. This one has enough strength to lift it. It's also got the anchors at the front, so it kind of, instead of this thing seesawing every time it's too heavy, they kind of help stop it doing that, basically. Yeah, bagged a thumbnail, bagged another one, get both sides, just in case. He looks better on one side. Yeah, I was like, yeah, that's right, tayga bridge layer. I've got my own cables now. We needed to know. It starts tipping back. I wasn't retracting, well, I'm in the loaf, so I definitely wasn't retracting the bridge at that point. Yeah, it just got to a point where it was too heavy, started falling back on its own. Water under the bridge, loaf under the bridge. Go back for more testing. This time though, now I know the bridge can lift me. And I was like, can I reverse along those like hydraulic piston things? Yes, I can. He's a loaf after all. He does achieve many, many things that you want him to do. Nicely parked on here. Good thing as well, like the loaf has got 200 litres, but when I'm in the Vostok, it kind of has a... It says 500 litres, see there on the loaf, so he must be carrying fuel. When you get him to look like professional. So I can use him to feed all the other vehicles. It just says hold down on the D-pad to refuel. Typical button on my remote that doesn't work. I wonder if it'll let me just press down on the keyboard, or it might then say, oh, you have to press C or something. Just wanted to, well, thumbnail, but also see what the bridge would do when I folded it onto the loaf. Just started shoving him back, really. So started trying to travel forwards, but then at this point, the anchors actually... It was fine when I was on the bridge, but now I'm kind of nose down a little bit. They're catching in. I think if you fully fold the bridge, they will lift up a little bit, but you do have a loaf on board. I thought, right, I know what to do. Easy does it. Don't crash it now. Don't break me 3 bridges ablaze. We'll go backwards. Right anchors and wankers. Again, like, easy does it. Don't fall down the hill. Don't knock them concrete slabs. Oh, we knocked them. But yeah, as you can see, they're bumping in a little bit. I wish they would be a little bit higher. I appreciate this is extenuating circumstances, but again, for science, you've got to know these things. They might come in handy one day. Now I can drive somewhere and take the loaf with me and lay a bridge, and I may want to lay a bridge but then send the loaf off somewhere, so now I don't have to do 2 trips. Yeah, I'm assuming this thing doesn't have winches. I'm almost certain it doesn't. So I suppose I could drive the loaf and winch to this and do towing mode and drag it that way, but I also might want to play the floor is lava. And yeah, the loaf would win that game. Yeah, you see this bridge thing though, I'm already on... I've lost over 100 litres, and I've only really left the garage, drove down the hill, spent most of my time messing around in the loaf, really. Got it here though, I thought this was where my AI route was getting stuck. They didn't even make it this far. But this was the original intention where to place this bridge. Yeah, detach is pretty easy. I've not picked one up yet, so I'm assuming though once you just level that out flat, you can click attach. I don't know how awkward it'll be, but I don't think you'll have to get it like absolutely pixel perfect. Yeah, overall pretty good though. Spans a pretty good gap there. Yeah, these were the Azovs, and obviously I've put the like convoy difficulty or whatever it was called, where it chews up the road more. But as I said, I think they'd chew up the road to this degree anyway. I tended to find, like even on previous maps, AI routes would damage it after a while. A good example was Aftermath. It kept making me patch bits that I didn't have to an hour prior or whatever. So it seems fairly similar. I tried to cut the route along the edge. It knocked a tree over, which was a good job, I respect it. But it got stuck again, and at this point I was like, sod it. I was it's getting a bit late in the night. I wanted to get to some editing, but it was like, I'm obviously going to have to either take sand there, or I was considering I could just lay bridges like pretty much the entire route, which I'm not unwilling to do. I just kind of figured at this point, I won't get any deeper into the game. I'm not that bothered tonight about trying to complete AI missions and whatnot. I was just getting a feel for the map, figured out I got bridge layers, give them a test. patch some routes. I did originally pour sand, but I didn't need to. More thumbnails just in case. And yeah, that was about it. You can see difficulty modifiers you can scroll over. So fuel on, cost normal, convoy difficulty on, fewer convoys off, and then all normal. The quarry zone, again, I would like to change that to bigger quarry zones. And yeah, contamination 3%. So I did a couple of missions. Nothing too crazy though. There's a description of the other map, Washout, but I didn't click on it. I've not done anything to do with that tonight so far. Yeah, overall actually a pretty good first impression from the map. Something about the physics feels good. The bridge layers are decent. Yeah, hard mode, that's what she said. Yeah, so I'll carry on with that, I reckon, but I'm not too sure whether to like properly do it or just mess around. I'll let us know what you think. But anyway, that's it for today though. I hope you enjoyed, I hope that helps. Thanks for watching, get yourself a loaf, and I'll be back soon.